Good morning from a rather wet and drizzly Norwich railway station, which is why I'm stood underneath this tree trying not to get soaking wet whilst filming the introduction. Anyway, for today's video I will be undertaking a slightly mad and very long 5-hour and 34-minute journey from the east coast of the country right over to the west in Liverpool on what I think is the UK's longest regional train service. It's operated by East Midlands Railway. They run every hour or so it's quite a regular service. And if you know any others that are longer than this on a regional sort of basis, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to find out if there are any that are longer than this, but I think that this is the longest regional service, which is why I'm travelling on it today. Anyway, for now I'm going to head under the cover of Norwich railway station, find a quick bite to eat, and then we can jump on board our 09:55 departure. The Grand Terminus station at Norwich was opened in 1844 before being rebuilt in its current form by the Great Eastern Railway in 1886. Today it serves predominantly Greater Anglia trains, being the terminus of the Great Eastern Main Line down to London, as well as a major regional hub with lines out to Sheringham, Lowestoft, Great Yarmouth, Cambridge and Stansted Airport. Alongside this constant stream of Greater Anglia services, the station sees an hourly service from EMR linking East Anglia with the Midlands and ultimately the northern cities of Manchester and Liverpool, a journey we will of course be undertaking today. As can be seen here, the almost 6-hour journey will be operated by one of EMR's 2-car Class 158s, which were introduced in the early 1990s and have since become the mainstay of long-distance regional links across Britain, from the far north of Scotland right down to Devon and Cornwall and even the Welsh coast. So with departure time soon approaching, I jumped on board to find myself a good window seat for this journey across the breadth of Britain. As we pass Greater Anglia's Crown Point depot moments after leaving Norwich, let's have a closer look at the route our train will take on its way from east to west. Upon leaving the county town of Norfolk, we immediately begin to traverse the flat agricultural lands of East Anglia before arrival into our first intermediate stop of Thetford. From here we cross what is known as the Fens, an expanse of extremely flat land which stretches from Suffolk right up to the city of Lincoln. But more on that later on. With further stops at the cathedral cities of Ely and Peterborough, we join the East Coast Main Line for the short stint up to Grantham, where we branch off for the line to Nottingham, the halfway point of the journey. Here we wind our way up to the Midland Main Line at Chesterfield, via stops at Ilkeston and Alfreton, before arriving into Sheffield. After another reversal, we take one of England's most scenic railway journeys, the Hope Valley Line, across the Peak District and into the heart of central Manchester via Stockport. Weaving our way through the city, it's just one final push to Liverpool's Lime Street via Warrington Central, concluding this epic journey. Total journey time is scheduled to be 5 hours and 34 minutes to cover the 248-mile route, giving us a leisurely average speed of just 45 miles an hour. Back on board with a light breakfast picked up at Norwich, I was settling into my seat, which upon first inspection I actually found very comfortable, featuring a winged headrest, good padding, an adjustable armrest, a sturdy tray table and 2 USB power outlets for every pair of seats. Overall, a really good product for a regional service like this one, and my only complaint would be that the current interior of these trains is beginning to look a bit worse for wear. However, EMR are currently undertaking a huge fleet upgrade, with the first refurbished Class 158s entering service around a month ago. Arriving at Thetford, we pass several concrete pillboxes alongside the railway. During the Second World War, the RAF and US Army Air Force constructed many air bases across East Anglia for heavy bomber fleets, with the level terrain and proximity to mainland Europe being perfectly suited for construction. Much of this work can still be seen today, alongside the pillboxes erected at strategic locations for defensive purposes. Crossing the River Grey Tews, we approach Ely, the first reversal point of today's journey, as we leave behind the Breckland line from Norwich to Cambridge and join the cross-country line to Birmingham in order to take us over to Peterborough. Almost immediately after leaving the junction at Ely, we begin to cross the flat, open expanse of the Fens. Originally a large area of marshes, a programme of land reclamation began in the early 17th century with Dutch engineers coming over from the Netherlands to drain huge areas of wetland. Today the Fens are protected by over 150 miles of sea and river embankment, as well as 286 electric pumping stations, leaving us with over 1,500 square miles of low-lying arable land, a unique landscape that I find really interesting. Just over half an hour later, we pull into Peterborough, where I'd passed through 4 hours earlier on this very same train, operating one of 2 daily direct services from my local station of Stamford to Norwich. Peterborough is of course where we join the East Coast Main Line and is a major rail hub, seeing services from LNER, Grand Central, Great Northern, Thameslink, Cross Country, Greater Anglia and of course EMR, to a variety of destinations like London, Scotland, Leeds and Birmingham. As well as this, GB Rail Freight opened a large depot here in 2023 for the maintenance of wagons and the stabling of various locomotives. Ploughing north, we soon climb Stoke Bank, an inclined stretch of the East Coast Main Line approximately 10 miles long and famous for being the scene of many high-speed runs by various locomotives, including most famously the legendary A4 Mallard, which set the world's speed record for a steam locomotive by reaching 126 miles per hour, marked here by the trackside sign. Shortly after leaving the East Coast Main Line at Grantham, we approached the busy Nottingham railway station, arguably EMR's main hub, with 2 intercity trains per hour to St Pancras, a journey I've done before on the channel, and over 9 regional services per hour to a variety of destinations such as Matlock, Crewe, Newark, Lincoln, Skegness and Worksop. It's also here where our train has an 8-minute break, whilst our original 2-carriage service is joined with another to form a 4-carriage train onwards to Liverpool. Now it's worth noting at this point the varying prices for this journey. I paid just £27.35 for my ticket on the EMR direct service between Norwich and Liverpool thanks to split ticketing, which broke the journey up into 4 different sections in order to make it cheaper. An anytime single, which allows you to travel on any train not going through London, would have cost £90.75. However, if you were going to go via London using Greater Anglia and Avanti, which does have a slightly shorter journey time of around 4 hours and 50 minutes, a split ticket would cost slightly more at £44.80, with an anytime single rocketing to £175.45. Safe to say, I think that the EMR service offers really good value for money when booked in advance, and I'd rather take this slightly longer route than paying the extra to go via London and saving just 40 minutes. After making our way up the Midland Main Line from Chesterfield, we pull into our second reversal point of Sheffield, the northern terminus of EMR's intercity services from London St Pancras, as well as a key interchange with both other national rail services across the country and the Sheffield Supertram over the wider city area. Upon leaving the city, we pass through the recently redeveloped Door-on-Totley station before crossing the Peak District on the scenic Hope Valley line, meaning it was time to sit back and soak up some of the beautiful scenery. After racing a Pendolino bound for Manchester Piccadilly, we pull into Stockport railway station with its lovely pair of London North Western signal boxes seen both on arrival and then on departure. Soon enough, we approach platform 14 at Manchester Piccadilly, which serves all through trains like ours on the Castlefield corridor. This twin-track corridor runs along a 1.5 mile long viaduct built in the 1840s and is infamous for being a significant bottleneck, seeing up to 15 trains per hour, including local and long-distance passenger trains, as well as container trains from the Trafford Park Freight Terminal. Over the years, there have been several proposed improvements, but so far, none of these have come to fruition. Leaving behind the urban sprawl of Greater Manchester, we call at Warrington Central with its 1973 signal box. The station itself dates from 1873 and features an attractive canopy with yellow brick and decorative stonework on the building. With our first glimpse of the bright yellow Merseyrail trains, we pull into Liverpool South Parkway, yet another key interchange along our route with links between the Merseyrail network, national rail services from TransPennine, Northern, Transport for Wales and London North Western, and a bus route to Liverpool's John Lennon Airport. Finally, having made our way through the cutting, we slowly approach Lime Street Station bang on time with its unique LMS 1948 signal box, concluding this mega journey across England, through some of its most stunning landscapes and largest cities, leaving just enough time to conclude with my final thoughts. Well, bang on time, over 5.5 hours and 250 miles. Since leaving Norwich this morning, I've made it to Liverpool Lime Street, and overall I found the journey really good actually. The seats were really comfortable. For a 5.5 hour journey, they're much better than other trains like the LNER Azumas, which operate on longer intercity routes, so that was definitely a bonus from EMR Regional. They're looking a bit tired, but I'm aware that they are being refurbished as I speak. The first unit has just been released. It's all brand new in their purple livery, so that should be a really good improvement. There was also a trolley on board, so I could get a couple of drinks, and overall I found it a really nice journey. One thing that I really enjoyed was seeing a change in scenery from the flat fens in the east right across the Peak District and over to the heart of the Industrial Revolution, what was the Industrial Revolution over here, Manchester and Liverpool. So I found it a really enjoyable journey today. So thank you for watching, thank you for bearing with me on this long journey, and hopefully I will see you next time for more adventures.